You know what? If the two of you have any extra time, you're surfing the web, try Much Music in the WWF.
And you know, Kathy, you can get to them and much, much more by visiting us at
Brian and Mike, I have really been looking forward to this one. Brutus Beefcake.
Wrestling fans, this is the main event. Brutus, the Barber, Beefcake, and Bryan Childs and our Brian Webster. What a matchup we've got.
Well, you know, this has an interesting twist to it because Bryan Childs, of course, he's an up-and-coming young wrestler in the UPW. He's traveled all across the United States. He's really trying to make a name for himself. And a couple of months ago, I had an opportunity to talk to Brutus, and I said, Brutus, after all the successes and all the years you've spent in professional wrestling, you know, what keeps you motivated? Why do you keep going? You've got the money, you've got the fame, you've got everything you could possibly want. And Brutus said that he basically stays in the industry to teach the young kids a lesson in how wrestling should be. So this is what this is really all about. This is a lesson that Brutus is going to try and teach Bryan Childs. And, you know, credit to Childs. He stepped right up to the plate and he said, hey, I'm going to make a name for myself and I'm going to show you how the guys of the new millennium get things done inside the squared circle. So I'm really looking forward to this one. Should be a great matchup.
And you know, Brian, Brutus, the Barber, Beefcake, as you see, acknowledging the cheers of the crowd, knows all the moves. As you mentioned, he's probably forgotten more moves than many of the young up-and-coming wrestlers today even dreamed about. And you'll get to see many of these classic wrestling maneuvers right here on Exciting, the Ultimate Slams and Jams.
And of course, Brutus giving the signal for a little cut, and he may do a little cut and a little strut before this one is over. And Mr. Childs may or may not be going home with a new hairstyle. Referee with some last-minute checkups and instructions calls for the bell, and here we go.
And we've got it all. Great wrestling, great rock and roll, and much, much more. Brutus, the Barber, Beefcake, locking up with Bryan Childs, and he's still got that great physique, and you're going to see all those classic moves, and a cheap shot to the midsection by Childs. He pays for that with a right-hand counter from the Barber.
And now Childs is going to complain to the official, but, you know, I hate to sound playground-ish about it, Mike, but he did start it.
Don't give what you can't take.
Absolutely. Collar elbow tie-up once again, and, oh, Brutus lifts the big knee.
And that mare, look at that, and the boot from Brutus, the Barber, Beefcake, and he's acknowledging the scissors. There's still a lot of styling to do inside that ring.
He does not change a bit, and you know, Brutus has done it all. He's a former WWF Tag Team Champion, along with another great wrestling star, Greg the Hammer Valentine, and he's hung around with Hulk Hogan, and he spent time in WCW, and of course, a major star in the WWF. And here on Ultimate Slams and Jams, like I said, Mike, looking to teach these young up-and-coming stars a lesson or two. Will he be successful? Well, we'll have to wait and see.
And right now, he's showing Childs, introducing him, I should say, to the turnbuckle. A stunned Bryan Childs in the corner, and a cheap shot with the eyes, a poke to the eyes, and a slam to the back of the neck from Bryan Childs. And now Childs pointing to that very same turnbuckle.
You know what I like here, guys? Childs is playing Brutus Beefcake's game, and he's staying with him toe-to-toe.
He's maybe staying with him, Brian, but that's a mistake. You never play the game with the Barber.
Will it be the teacher over the so-called student in Brutus's eyes?
And a right hand missing. And there's that boot to the midsection, and look out!
A DDT sends Childs crashing to the canvas and scurrying for cover.
And Brutus, the Barber, Beefcake, showing right here that he can still stay with all the young up-and-coming wrestlers, and he can take them all on.
Brutus now going to town on Mr. Childs. An Irish whip in, and that big boot says hello to the face.
And Brutus, the Barber, Beefcake, acknowledging the crowd. And Brian, he's He's pointing to those scissors one more time.
Things not faring too well at the moment for Bryan Childs here on Ultimate Slams and Jams. And this referee allowing a lot of latitude, Mike. I don't know if you noticed, but those were several closed fists, and the referee sort of just lackadaisical about the
And
whole
it's
thing.
a sleeper hold from Brutus the Barber Beefcake, and the lights slowly dimming on Bryan Childs.
And of course, that is Brutus's signature maneuver right there. The patented sleeper hold and cinching it in with all his might. And I believe that Mr. Sandman is coming to visit Bryan Childs.
And will we go to the scissors?
Brutus the Barber Beefcake with yet another victory.
San Francisco, Brutus Beefcake.
And a little strut, and Brutus the Barber Beefcake takes the scissors out, Mike, and I don't think things are going to go too well for Bryan Childs.
All for the same price, a wrestling match and a haircut.
Holy cow, you never know what to expect when you...
Thanks.